Then another thing happened because Klay Thompson finally, he's been moving up the ranks as far as 3-point shooting and 3-pointers made and all that stuff. So he just passed his idol Reggie Miller, and I definitely think that's a big deal. It definitely was a big deal for Klay Thompson. He spoke about it in the post game. This is what he said.
Celebrated tonight because you just think all the hours you spent shooting and all the shots you gotten up in your lifetime, and to pass such an icon like Reggie is super surreal for me, especially being a 90s baby. I watched him, get so many game winners, battle against the best that ever played, and leave it all out on the floor. So celebrated tonight.
So he passed Reggie Miller. Then he goes to IG and he says, one of my favorite memories along this journey was working out for the Knicks in June 2011. And Donnie Wash told me how much I reminded him of Reggie. That meant the world to me and inspired me to never stop shooting. Salute to the greatest to ever shoot it. At Reggie Miller TNT. Thanks for the blueprint, OG, right? So not abnormal, right? It's not abnormal for in the moment when you pass a all-time great on the list that you give him his flowers at that moment, right? He probably definitely thought Reggie Miller was the greatest shooter of all time when he was idolizing him as a kid coming up and he was copying him. But just because he says it now when he passes him doesn't mean it's a slight to Steph Curry, right? It's just that in this moment, I recognize that I'm passing this man, and it'll be the most respectful thing for me to do to actually give him a lot of credit in this moment because I'm passing him, right? I'm pushing him further and further down in history, right? To the point, so you got to kind of be aware of that. That it's bittersweet for a player like Reggie Miller because on one hand, it can't be a better person passing me like Klay Thompson, someone who actually puts in the work, someone who plays the right way, someone who's humble, but someone who also respects the game and all that stuff, right? So that's the sweet part about it. But the bitter part about it is, man, more and more people are going to pass me, and it's at some point when I used to be number 2 on the list behind Ray Allen, now I've been passed up by daggone Steph, Dame Lillard, and now Klay Thompson. Now I'm number 6 on the list, right? I want to continue to move down. Harden's going to pass him, right? So, it's next thing you know, it's going to be some big man passing them. Luka's probably going to pass him. So, this great shooter that we once knew, who was probably one of the greatest shooters we ever seen, is now going to be forgotten with this next generation that's coming up because once he get down to number 15, number 20, I mean, what are we talking about at this point? Like, we're going to think everyone ahead of him is a better shooter than him, right? So I think Klay was just taking this moment to give him his flowers. He meant it, but at the same time, he probably didn't mean it 100%, like because he probably really thinks Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, it was his teammate. But, of course, a lot of people thought that was a slight. Well, you left Golden State, and you probably would never say that if you were still with Golden State. Now, here's my thing. I just did a show last week, and I told everybody it's not a foregone conclusion that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. Does he have the record for the most made threes? Yes. Does that mean he's the greatest shooter of all time? No, it doesn't mean that. Does Kareem, before LeBron had the record, did Kareem have the record for most points? Yes. Does that mean he's the greatest scorer? No. Now that LeBron has the record for most points, does that mean he's the greatest scorer of all time? No, it doesn't mean that. Just because you hold the record don't mean that you're the greatest. But when you look at Steph, he does look like the greatest. But I want you to say and think to yourself, think about this era of basketball versus the era of basketball where Reggie Miller played in or Ray Allen played in. The era where Reggie Miller, even being the best three-point shooter in the league, probably only shot around 5 threes a game. Same with Ray Allen. On top of the demand that it took on them to actually have to play defense. Like also in a soundbite that I didn't provide, Klay Thompson said, for Reggie Miller to hit that many threes in the era where he had to guard and play against the best of all time, Michael Jordan, and he mentioned Kobe as well. Like he's a 2 guard. He has to guard MJ. He has to guard Kobe. He tried. He was a little older when Kobe was coming up, so he had to take turns. Jalen Rose, a little bit of Mark Jackson. They had to take turns on Kobe. But for MJ, he was guarding MJ. He was guarding Mitch Richmond, Glenn Rice, Steve Smith. He was guarding some really good Isaiah Ryder, some really good two guards, Clyde Drexler. And you had to defend back then. There was no option. You couldn't be like Luka and say it's optional if I defend or not. And we're going to create a defense around me that defends for me and protects me. Right? That's the new formula of today. If we got a bad defender, it's okay. All the other 4 players just have to be good defenders to help him. That's trash. No, you need to be able to stop your own man. Right? You need to be able to stop your own man. So on top of him playing really hard-nosed defense, he was also running through screens in the physical era of the 90s before he got his shot off. And he was only getting 5 or 6 threes a game, making those count. And he was way up on the leaderboard for all-time made threes in a tougher era, right, on both ends of the floor. I would say that's more impressive. I would say what Steph Curry is doing is impressive as well. Not as impressive as Ray Allen and Reggie Miller. I think the threes that Ray Allen and Reggie Miller was able to hit in the amount of time they did in the era that they did with the minimum amount of threes that they was taking. I think that's more impressive, but it's still impressive what Steph has done as well, because we know he's a great shooter. He's automatically in the discussion if you want to have a debate, but it's not a foregone conclusion. I see some Dale Ellis in the comment section. I see Glenn Rice, Mark Price, the same names that I was thinking of. Pager, I would go Pager and Steve Kerr maybe, but definitely Dale Ellis, definitely Mark Price. Right, so Mark Price, Dale Ellis, 100% in that discussion for the greatest three-point shooters I've ever seen. Who else on top of Dale Ellis? Glenn Rice was okay. He was better than okay. He was good, but I don't think he's up there with Steph, Reggie, Ray Allen, Mark Price. Like Mark Price and Ray Allen and Reggie, and then Steph and then Klay. Those 5 right there, I would say those would be my top 5, and you can have the debate. Right. Here's Cornbread Maxwell talking about it.
Absolutely. You know what? Along those lines, Max, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, man. Klay Thompson passing Reggie Miller for fifth all-time three-point shot. Max, did you think that someone would bump, or multiple people would bump Reggie all the way down to 6? Remember when Ray beat him? We knew it was going to happen eventually, but man, that happened in a hurry.
It's going to happen faster and faster.
It's crazy.
Only person I don't think you're going to catch for a while will be maybe Steph. Steph is Steph is unreal.
Right.
He's another level. But these other guys who are around right now, here's how ironic this thing is. How people put this stat up, and I think it's crazy. It's a crazy, good, funny stat. My buddy Draymond Green has made more threes than Larry Bird in his career.
That's crazy. Wow.
Let that marinate for a minute. Draymond Green has made more threes than Larry Bird, the great Larry Bird. And you remember, you could hear your coach right now of the LA Lakers.
JJ Redick.
He went on to say Larry Bird wasn't one of the top 3-point shooters or top 5 3-point shooters in the history of the NBA. Statistically, he is right. He's 100% right. But we know in a bizarro world, if Larry Bird had played during this particular time, the game is tailor-made for him. There was somebody, I wanted to say it was Chandler Parsons, said right now that Luka is better than Larry. Well, they get the fuck out of here.
What has he done, Max? Come on, man. Not yet.
You are disturbing the great powers of the NBA when you say that Luka is better than Larry Bird. Now, Luka is one of the top players around. Larry Bird is one of the top 10 players ever to play the game in the history of the game.
Right.
Luka didn't do himself a favor at all last year in the finals. Defensively.
Got exposed, Max. He got exposed.
So Chandler Parson, you might want to back off that and get back to something that you can really talk about, because I've seen both guys, and I can tell you he's no Larry Bird.
So I agree with that. I'm gonna address the Larry Bird and Luka part a little bit later. Let's get into what he said about, first and foremost, JJ Redick trying to make the point that Larry Bird, and this happened on First Take. He was on there debating Mad Dog Russo, and he was talking about great shooters and all that stuff. It probably was the same time. It probably was around the time when Steph passed Ray Allen for number one. I think they was talking about great 3-point shooters. And Russo brought up Larry Bird, and JJ Redick like scoffed at him and laughed like, man, why y'all keep bringing up Larry Bird? Like, he was like, Larry Bird is not one of the greatest shooters of all time. He only shot it, 35% from three, or 34. He was, and he was like the great shooters like Kyle Korver, they shoot it at 40%, 41%. So he basically was saying Larry Bird is not a great 3-point shooter like in history. He could shoot, but he's not on par with these great shooters like Kyle Korver and the people that shot it at 40%. He was saying the percentage made Larry Bird not a great 3-point shooter. And I'm like, man, this like for someone to be Duke educated and hang his hat on being a cerebral player, coach, and analyst of the game and smart, that's got to be one of the dumbest conclusions you can form by saying the best shooters are the one who got the highest percentage, and we're not going to account for when they played, what era they played in, what the opposition was like, what the defense was like, how many threes they shot. Like, common sense will tell you if I'm shooting 2 threes a game, if I want to shoot a decent percentage, I got to hit one. Like, if I only shoot 2 threes a game, if I miss both of them, I'm 0%. If I make one of them, I'm 50%, right? You got to be pretty accurate. If you the less threes you shoot, the more accurate you have to be. The more threes you shoot, the more room for error you got, right? Because if I shoot 10 a game, I can miss 5. If I only shoot 2 a game, I can only miss 1 if I want to be 50%. If I want to be 50% shooting 10, I can miss 5. Right? And if I got a green light to shoot 10 threes and miss 5 of them, I could probably miss my first 4 and then hit 1, right? And then miss another one, but then find, okay, I get a little rhythm and get hot and I hit 4 straight and there's my 5 and I'm 50%. Right? But if I'm telling you, hey man, you only got 3 threes that you can make this game and you better shoot it at above 40. That's tough. Like if I look at how many threes Larry Bird shot a game, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't like Steph. I mean, hell, Ray Allen wasn't even shooting that many threes. Right? It's easy to shoot from the hip. Right? It's easy to shoot. If I'm asking you to be a sniper, and I tell you you got one shot to hit that dude center mass, you got one shot from 600 yards away. You got one shot. You better make it count. That's called a sniper. But if I'm telling you, hey man, you got 2 guns on your hip, and you can just bring it up and shoot and empty the whole clip. 12 rounds in each gun, however many rounds. Hey man, just let all of them go. Pow, 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 pow. Yeah, that's what they're doing in this league right now. They shooting from the hip with 2 guns and they emptying the clip. And then after they finish, oh man, look how many holes I put in them. Well, you got these guys is 1 kill shot, make it count. Which one is tougher? A sniper? Which one takes more skill, more precision, more concentration, right? Less room for error. Which one is more impressive? Hey, you got 1 shot, make it count. Or hey, look, man, you got 2 guns, shoot from the hip. You ain't even got to aim. You ain't even got to open your eyes. Just close your eyes and blah, 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 blah. We're going to let you get 12 threes a game. 12 threes a game is insane. 12? 12 threes a game is insane. Imagine Larry Bird shooting 12 threes in his era right now. He was already averaging 30 in a tougher era with less threes. Imagine that he was playing in this era. And a coach told him, man, we're going to let you get 10 threes up. It'll be insane. So, no, I don't agree with JJ Redick saying I'm just going to go by the percentages and whoever got a higher percentage is the better shooter from three. That's dumb. Right? That might work for free throws because in a situation for free throws, everyone who shoot free throws got the same exact scenario. You get a certain amount of seconds to shoot it before it's a violation. No one can contest your shot. It's the same distance. There's no defense. It's just you and the goal and whatever noise crowd you got. That's your only opposition. So when you take a free throw percentage, it's more accurate to say the better free throw shooter is whoever got the best percentage. But when you take 3-point percentage, you got to take for account how many you take in a game. How contested is it? What era are we playing it? Because if we're in the hand check era, those threes didn't come easy. You got to take into account for all of that, right? I mean, even with Kobe Bryant, you think about the threes he took, and the mid-range jumpers he took. A lot of them was contested because that's the shot he practiced. And then you take a guy like LeBron James, and he get a lot of open threes because, you know, people go into his screens because they don't respect his 3-point shot. Right. So that's my thing. I don't know if it's a foregone conclusion that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter. I think Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Dale Ellis, guys like that. Even Larry Bird got something to say about that. And whoever said Glenn Rice, yeah, you was right. Glenn Rice was a sniper as well. It's just a lot, man. Even Mahmoud, definitely Mark Price. I hope I said Mark Price. Mark Price for sure. Like these guys would fit into this era quite nicely, and their careers would look a lot different with a coach telling them that you can get 10 threes a game. It'll look a lot different in a era of space and pace, and an era of no impedance of the offensive player off the ball or on the ball. Like it's just a different era, so it'll be different. But that's my thought on that. But let's get to this Luka part. So Maxwell said, "Give me a freaking break. Luka ain't nowhere near no freaking Larry Bird." I agree 100%. I agree 100%. Luka's nowhere near Larry Bird. Like Larry Bird is. I mean, Luka has been a favorite to win MVP for 5 straight years, and he's been first team All NBA for like 4 straight years. They're practically trying to give this dude the MVP, and he can't grasp it. Like the offense that he's in is it's basically designing a triple double. Like the offense that Luka plays in, it's almost an indictment on him that he doesn't get a triple double every game. Like they designed the offense for him to get a triple double. The fact that he's not getting a triple double shows you how good he's not. Like I'm designing for you to get a triple. If I told you right now, sit down and design an offense that can guarantee a player 10 assists, it'll be the exact offense that they run in Dallas. Give Luka the ball, put nothing but shooters around him, and a lob threat setting screens for him in the screen roll option. And you got either I'm going to the hole, I can lob it to Gafford, and not only that, when Gafford goes sit down on the bench, now I got Lively coming in. So I got a lob threat for 4 straight quarters all the time. Easy assist if they come and help off my dribble drive. Lob threat. Or I got Kyrie in the corner, Dinwiddie on the arc. I got PJ Washington in the corner. I got 3 shooters in both corners and one of the on the weak side on the arc. And if someone come and help to take away that lob, which is an assist for me, I can just make that pass to a 3-point shooter, And I'm doing that for 4 quarters, 12 minutes, 48 minutes, 12 minutes a quarter, 48 minutes in the game. I got the ball in my hand probably 80% of every play. I'm coming up. And we shooting 53s. Most of them off my assists. And all the lobs are coming off me. I'm giving you 10 assists a game. The fact that you can't get 10 every game shows me how flawed you are. Right? Then on defense, we're hiding you on defense. We're saying, Luka, we're going to guard everything up top for you. All you got to do is go to the corner because every team runs the same offense where they put 2 shooters in the corner. So now we can hide our worst defender and say, man, go guard whoever's in the corner. And just stand there. Everyone else up top, we'll guard the screen and roll. We'll guard all of that. We'll have our best defender on the ball. We'll do all that. We'll hide Luka. Sometimes a team will have somebody in the corner. They come set the screen from the corner guy just so they can get Luka involved in the screen. And they got a crisscross method where if Luka got to come up and guard a screen and roll action, the other guy from the other side will just switch with Luka so Luka won't get involved in the screen and roll and Luka can go back and guard somebody that's not going to get the ball. Like they're hiding him on defense, right? So if I'm standing in the corner and most teams are shooting 53s a game, 43s a game, those long rebounds are just for, I ain't got to box out or nothing. Those rebounds just falling. All I got to do is take 3 steps from the corner, rebound dropping in my hand. That's 10 a game for 4 quarters. 53. I'm just adding the threes. I ain't even talking about all the other shots, just the threes, 50 or 43s turning into long rebounds. Can you get 10 of them? If you're not defending the one, you're not defending the ball and then having to contest a shot and the ball is behind you. You're not like you're contesting the shot. You can't even see the ball. But when you're in the corner, just standing there, you're looking at everything and then you see the ball hit the rim and you see what's falling. You just take a step up. Oh, boop, rebound. No box out, no nothing. It's just falling into my hand. Can you get 10 of those a game off of 43s? And they're only hitting 10 threes out of those 40 they're taking. So that's 30 missed threes. Are you able to get 10 of those? So they're gifting Luka 10 assists, 10 rebounds. And then, oh, by the way, he's got the green light to take between 20 and 35 shots a game. Any shot he wants. I can go all the way to the hole. I can get fat and just back somebody down for 5 seconds and foul merchant. I'm going to get to the free throw line. I can take step back threes. I can do whatever I want in this offense. Like the world is my oyster. I have the entire parking lot at my disposal where I can attack from. But my teammates, who I'm supposed to be better than, they can only get their points inside of the phone booth. Imagine being in the parking lot. No cars in the parking lot. Luka got the whole parking lot where he can dribble and he can go in every spot on that parking lot. But Kyrie can only go inside the phone booth and he's got to get 25 points inside of a phone booth. PJ Washington can only go in the corner in the phone booth. Derek Lively can only set screens and roll and catch lobs. Imagine that. Imagine putting your best player in a situation where he has everything to his disposal, but the players that's supposed to be less than him can only go in the phone booth and just wait for a pass. And you're telling your second option, your co-star, this offense doesn't work if you don't get 25. You have to figure out how to get 25 just whenever Luka just gets tired and throws you the ball. So, hey, you got to score. It's your turn now. Like Luka can do whatever he wants until he say, all right, your turn, Kyrie. And Kyrie got to get 25 of those in the finals against Tatum and Brown. Like you're not even running offense with Kyrie Irving. There's no offense for Kyrie. You just throw him the ball and move out of his way, and he's got to get 25 of those in order for them to win. And they're doing the same thing in Denver. Jokic, running point guard, 1,017 pounds, fat, 7 foot, slow as molasses, can't jump over a phone book. But he want to go coast to coast on a freaking fast break and Michael Porter Jr. in a freaking phone booth. I can only shoot threes. What are we doing? So no, he's not better than Larry Bird. And until he can play real basketball and defense and playing a real offense and let a real point guard play point guard, and you get your fat Beluga Well, Oprah Winfrey, Luka Vandross long ago in a freaking small forward position and actually play. No, you're not good as Larry Bird. You're not even close to Larry Bird. I'm sorry.